Ladies and gentlemen, so Pakistan and China, they are the time-tested friend. They are cooperating since many decades. For example, our first trade transaction happened in 1915 too. So then Pakistan and China, they are also working together in the field of the security of defense. You can name the different initiatives that both countries have taken, like the heavy industrial complex, mechanical complex. You can talk about aeronautical complex. You can talk about the JF-17 Thunder, Al-Khala tanks, and the nuclear civil nuclear cooperation. So there are a number of areas where Pakistan and China are working together. And on top of that, CPEC is the ultimate, you can say, the sign of trust, and you can say the close bond between two countries in the field of the economics. We are working together to revive the economy of Pakistan. But at the same time, there are certain challenges which Pakistan and China, they both are facing. For example, if you look at that, US is pressurizing Pakistan to come out of CPEC. I think it will not be possible for the Pakistan. Why they are compelling Pakistan to come out of CPEC? Because they are trying to isolate China in the region, so they can say like that they also want to isolate Pakistan in the region. So they want to break the close bond between two countries. But one thing is for sure, which government of Pakistan and the policymakers must have to keep in mind. Pakistan, whatever do for the US will never stand with Pakistan. There is a very strong rationale, economic rationale behind this, this statement. Let's look at the facts. If we look at this point of the time, so there is a strong competition is going on between China and USA. USA is introducing different types of the trade barriers and economic sanctions on China and Chinese companies. But I believe China will survive. Why? Because if we look at the market size of China, it's a 1.4 billion consumers. If we look at that, China has planned up to 2035, they will be graduating 600 million people to the middle class. And the process already has been started. If you look at the report by HBSC, so they have stated that till 2025, there would be 160 million people will be graduated to the middle class in China. And it has also been pointed out of that if the middle class spend more, equal to the $20 per month, they increase their spending, it will add equal to the $1.1 trillion economy. So China can sustain the pressure and all the global pressure if by utilizing on the domestic consumption, which they have the huge population, and is also anticipated that till 2035, so there 200 to 400 million people will also be graduating to the upper class in China. That's been around about 1 billion people will be changing their class. It will have the huge impact on their domestic consumption. When their domestic consumption will be increased, so they can sustain the growth rate of their GDP. One thing, and second thing, China will also become the center of the import, because to meet all the consumption requirements of the people, China will have to import, and China has started the process. If we look at the Shanghai Import Expo, so China is becoming the new, you can say, the hub of the global market. One thing, if we look on American statistics, America is a market only over 334. Look, compare 1.4 million people and 334 million people. So there is a huge difference, billion and million. There is a difference between billion and million. So US needs a new big market. And if we look at the existing statistics, the traditional allies of US like European Union, they cannot support. Why? Because they are already saturated market, and they are also looking the new avenues for the cooperation, and they are willing to build the close cooperation with the China. In these circumstances, the choice for the US is India. So USA will be standing with the India, because the market side of India is a big, and India is also willing to work against the China. So the natural ally for US would be in this region, that is India, due to the market, economic rationale, and their political score also. So in this context, Pakistan have to keep in mind, whatever Pakistan do for the US will never stand with Pakistan, and China will also have to need to understand this. They will also do, US will do everything to break the relation between these two countries, so they can isolate China in the region. So I think these are the facts which both countries have to keep in the mind, especially the Pakistan. They have to keep in the mind. And lastly, Pakistan also have to keep in the mind, there is a new neutral, there would be no neutral policy. Why? Because we are coming to an era where the hard competition is coming. If you look at the global, around the global Ukraine crisis, you can look at the other crises around the world. So US is hard bent to just work against China and their allies. So they will not leave any option for us to go for the neutrality. So we have to pick a side, and it will be good for the Pakistan as early as Pakistan recognize that.